All right, you guys, I took way too long setting up the camera, so I'm in a little bit of a rush, so I'm not filming my whole look today, but I did want to do a quick eye look for you. This is June 21st, so we're almost done with Pride Month, but I did want to do one look before the month was over. And so what I'm gonna do, or at least attempt to do, is a look that kind of represents me. So I have been really self-searching and trying to find just what label I think fits me. And while I don't think you have to label yourself to be accepted, I do think it helps to kind of just make yourself more comfortable in your own skin. So I've really been thinking and really exploring, and while for 43 years I've identified as straight, I think, if I'm being really honest with myself, the label that fits me the best would be heteroflexible. So that's the look I'm gonna go for today, and while we set it up, we're going to discuss it. So what I'm gonna do, I've got this extremely sticky sellotape, and I want to kind of get a long bit of it, and I am going to stick this. Well, first I'm actually going to cut it to just a little bit thinner, not quite half, I think. I'm just going to try and cut it as straight as possible with the wind going on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it perfectly. Let's cut it a little bit shorter, maybe that'll help. Didn't know you were tuning into Arts and Craft Time with Sabrina, did you? All right, so maybe that'll be a little bit better. Not really. Oof, I'll try again. If I end up completely giving up, we'll just have a bigger piece than I wanted. So the idea here is that I'm going to mask off the center of my lids, because while there has been a new flag suggested recently, it's just somebody's idea over on Reddit. And while heteroflexible is not one of the more recognized, sexualities, it does have a flag that's been around for a while. So I'm actually going to switch up, and I stuck it over here onto some wax paper because this, like I said, this is very sticky. So I'm going to stick it to the wax paper and then pull it off so that it loses a little bit of its stickiness, because I don't want to, damage my skin. So I think maybe if I stick it down first and then cut it and then lift it, I'll have a better, this is working better. Maybe a little thinner. So if you don't know, the heteroflexible flag is a very light gray to black gradient with the white on the lightest gray on the bottom and a black on top, and then just a strip of the regular pride flag in the middle with the 6 colors, I think. So let's see how I did. Great, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. And then I want to cut it in 2. Now let's see if I can peel it off. Okay, so I got one side off. So we may already home. What time is it? Oh goodness. No, it's not. Okay. He said he was getting off early, but I didn't think he was getting off this early. Maybe I should do one side first. Of course, I'm trying to do this one-handed in front of a fan. I didn't think this all the way through. And he set off the alarm. All right, so the idea there is that when I lay my gray shadows over this, I can then pull it off. And because I put it onto the wax paper first, it shouldn't be so sticky that it rips my hairs off with it. And we'll see if I can pull the other one off, but if not, we'll just try to reuse this one. All right, here's the other one. Let's see, are you going to let me peel you off? Are you the other one? Now I can't tell. Well, all right, we may have to do just one at a time because I got distracted and lost everything. Okay, not off to the best start, but not off to the worst start. So, like I said, we're gonna start with our lightest gray at the bottom, and the flag itself does have several grays. I don't think anyone's really going to be counting the number of grays that we put into our gradient. So I'm just gonna kind of go with what feels right, and we'll stop when it feels like enough. All right, wipe off whatever I have on the brush. I'm just gonna go into my Wolf Calls palette. We're gonna start with Gray All Day at the base. Goodness. Okay, make sure that's stuck down, and we're just gonna start applying. I do have an eyeshadow primer on already. Now the flag itself is almost white for its first base, but like I said, I'm gonna have a little bit of liberty with this because an almost white is gonna get almost too light and lost when things get blended. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, but fabric is not eyeshadow, and so it does not blend the same way. I know, alert the media. So like I said, this is gonna be an artistic interpretation, so we can play with it a little. When I feel like I've got enough of that shade on there, and I'm just gonna move to the next one. And because we're doing one eye at a time, it's not gonna be perfect, but All right, so I'm gonna then just dip into Chill Factor, which is the next shade. This one's a little bit darker. I'm just gonna start putting that on right above it, and we'll worry about blending these things out at the end. Just loading that up on top. We are gonna go a bit high on this because we're gonna have to leave enough room to build 6 colors into that space. So we're gonna need to go above the crease with this. All right, our next deeper color. So I'm having trouble because, probably because of the tape on my eye, I do want to keep these all matte, and so I was needing to kind of look. So the next shade that's going to stay matte is going to be 50 Shades. So we're going to take that, stack it right on top. So it looks like we're going to have 4 gray colors. And it's going to be darker than I had initially intended. I thought I had a couple lighter colors in here, but it is what it is. And the last one is called Bite Black, and that's right up close underneath the brow line. Okay, now that we've got those in there, we're going to go for a really fluffy brush. And starting at the base, we're going to blend the bottom 2 together, making sure that tape is sticking down. You know what I think I'm going to do is look and see if I have a paler color used to blend these in, just to see if I can't lighten it all up, because I don't want it to just end up being super dark and muddy. Yeah, see, some of my lighter colors are in this palette, so I'm just going to go into Charisma in my She Glam Scorpio palette, just see if I can't get some lighter blending shades in as I go up, and just use that on my brush to diffuse everything. I'm just really working back and forth here to really blend these darker colors out around the crease and rounding out this outer corner. I'm gonna go back in now with that. So now I'm gonna take a medium blending brush into our medium shade, which was Chill Factor, right into the lid in the center, and just kind of buff out the middle, and then into our lightest just at the base. So we end up with something kind of like that. Now hopefully this should be super satisfying. 1, 2, yeah. All right, I'm gonna pause, do the second eye, and I'll be back. All right, I feel like we ended up with less of a gradient and more of a marbling, but I'm not mad at it. Okay, so now it's time for the rainbow stripe, and I think I want to have it more, I think I'm gonna leave it a surprise. So let's just kind of go in with it, and as I do, I'm gonna explain how I came to my conclusion. All right, so I am 43. I really only started dating at 18, and even then, only really until college. I had 2 dates in high school. One I was kind of forced into, and it was really not good at all. And then prom, which was, the guy I went with was very nice. He was in college at that point, and it was one of those, so I'm starting with red, and I'm gonna go not quite at my lash line. Excuse me? That's not good. That was kind of a 15-minute warning, so I'm gonna hurry this up. Not going to start at my lash line. I'm going to go slightly above so I don't have to cover it with eyeliner. We're going to start with red, of course, and then work our way up. But it was kind of like when the night of junior prom rolled around, I went to sort of dance rehearsal with him, and he's like, hey, where's everyone else? I'm like, prom. He goes, why aren't you there? I'm like, nobody asked me. I was that girl. And he goes, well, if nobody asks you next year, then I'll go with you. And I'm like, okay. And a year goes around, and of course nobody asked me, so we went. And yeah, and then I went off to college, and suddenly lots of guys were interested in me. I don't know if it was just being in a small town that I was not, and guys weren't interested in me, or just being in university there was a different kind of guy, or what. But I started dating, and then it was whatever. So, you know, I've dated guys pretty much exclusively from that point on. I've never said, you know, explicitly that I wouldn't date any other gender, but, you know, I've put, you know, interested in men on my dating profiles because, you know, I'm not a lesbian. I've always known that. But, you know, I have also known that, you know, full intercourse with women wasn't something that I was like, yes, this is what I want. So I've kind of just been trying to figure out what I did want. And so for the last couple of years, I've been trying to figure it out. And what I've realized is I find women attractive. The idea of a lot of things about women sexually turns me on, you know? And so it's just sort of been some things that I've been kind of unsure about. And the more I kind of explore that, it's just a question of not being really in touch with knowing what kind of things entail, you know, what's okay to not be sure of. And I realized that there's some things with sex about men, or about having sex with men, that I'm not 100% into. So I'm like, well, that's the same with women. There's things I'm not sure I'm 100% sure I'm into. So like, what's the difference, right? And there's not a ton of difference. So okay, then what's there to stop me? And there's really not, right? And some of my, you know, relationships with, you know, friendships and stuff with women are just as intense as they are with men, you know, emotionally. So maybe I'm open to doing that. And yes, I have always predominantly had, you know, crushes on men. So I think what that means is that I would be open into exploring something with a woman should I find the right woman. So I was, you know, I've been thinking about it the last couple of years. And so I don't think that means I'm bi. I don't think that there's an equal attraction to both. So I don't think it would be fair to say that, right? So I've been looking into it, and the thing that just makes sense as a label is heteroflexible. I do think that predominantly I'm interested in men. duh, right? But I am not shutting myself off to the idea of a woman. And even, I'm not even just saying cis women. The idea of potentially even a trans woman doesn't turn me off, because I think there's something about maybe, I don't know, maybe there's sort of an in-betweenness there in a way that could be something. I don't know. And that's not saying that, you know, a trans woman isn't a woman. Obviously, a trans woman is. I'm not going there. I'm not questioning their identity, right? But maybe there's an interest there because I haven't explored that fully. All right. I'm not perfect, but, you know, I just don't know enough to know what I don't know. Okay. So I think this is the label that makes sense for me in my exploration. And so this is it. You know, this is who I feel that makes sense for me as a person. So what do you guys think? What is your label? Do you feel like you need a label? Do these sort of subcategories, do you think they're fair, or do you think they're just something that people have attached to because they're not ready to fully commit to a bigger label? Am I bi, or am I just saying it to say I want to join? I don't know. What do you, because I think sometimes people have that judgment of, well, you're straight, but you want to pretend to be something that you're not because you want to feel special. I've heard people say that. So I don't know. What do you think? I'm debating because I didn't get enough white. Should I try it? I'm running late. Maybe I'll just do a little, it's very dry. And I told you guys where I'm going. I'm actually going to get my crown finally put on this back tooth, but I've got to finish my face. So I'm going to stop it here, and I will insert some pictures when I'm done. All right, stay safe, be kind to yourself. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, that was intense. So I'm in a bit of pain right now, I'm not gonna lie. We barely did any topical numbing. Like, he rubbed it in there and then just started. Like, it was not the orthodontist, I guess, that did the root canal. He was cool. I like him. This was an older guy, and he manhandled me. I mean, it wasn't like, he wasn't a bad doctor. Like, I didn't feel like abused or like something was wrong. He was just, I would say, old school. Like, he was just, let's get this done, right? So he got it done, and it wasn't like I was screaming. I don't think I bled or anything like that. It was just like he literally was like grabbing my jaw and like, and they did put like protective glasses on, but he was like pushing them out of the way and stuff. So the dental assistant, or, you know, I'm not sure what her title was. I know they have like their own special title, but she immediately complimented my eyeshadow, which, you know, made me so happy. And she's like, here, protect your eyeshadow. But as he was doing it, he was like pushing them out of the way. So like, I don't think they protected anything. I think it held up pretty well. Like, let's get a little close up here into the TikTok camera, and I have to stand up to get all the way over here to YouTube. I'm like out of the light, but held up okay. Again, I think so. I have time still. I think maybe tomorrow maybe not tomorrow. Before the end of Pride Month, I'm gonna do this again. I'm going to start with a much lighter gray and maybe not go as dark, or maybe I'll even flip it so that I can do the black on the bottom and do like a really nice graphic eyeliner. I got this, the NYX Professional Epic Ink Eyeliner, because Samantha Lux, Protect It All, Samantha Lux, so this is the one she used as I throw it around. And so if I do the black liner and then go up, I know flipping a flag means like distress or help, but artistic license, right? So I think I might switch that. But anyway, I'm gonna touch things up. I did add some purple in my waterline, so I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, in pain, got a temporary crown, but okay. So after this, I'm gonna go to Costco and probably Walmart. So I've got stuff all over. There's like stuff on my lips. It was a horror show. So let me just fix things up, and like there's like, this is where the glasses hit, so let me make myself feel like a real person again. I'm kind of stalling because I don't know where anything is. Like, I just kind of threw stuff wherever it ended up landing. I'm looking for, my eyebrows got absolutely destroyed, so I really need to glue them down. I did kind of fluff them out a little bit with the elf stuff, but they need help, so I'm just gonna do those real quick. So I didn't say that this is like, I know none of the flags are like official flags because there's no like actual organization, or, you know, like state flags are official, country flags are official because there's an organization that there's one thing to rule them all, right? So I guess like the closest you get to one unified organization in the US might be like GLAAD, right? But I don't think there's one organization that says what is the official thing. I think it's just kind of whatever the largest group considers it. So the pride flag, the progress flag, bi, trans, we all kind of know what those are, right? So it's just kind of whatever seems to be the most popular and what people kind of gravitate to, right? So the flag I chose to do seems to be the most accepted one. And because heteroflexible is kind of like a subset of bisexual, I had to really look, right? And I kind of came to my choice of kind of what label I felt most comfortable with after kind of doing a little bit of research and filling out some questions with ChatGPT. And yes, I understand it's AI, and AI pulls from other things that may not be, accurate. So of course I was going through the questions. The questions were standard, like obviously I know that, right? So we were going along pretty well, and I felt comfortable with the answers, and I felt like the resources that it was pulling from were reliable, right? So I was doing good, and then we started talking about, okay, heteroflexible. That really seems to make sense, and we're going into it. And I knew that whatever I decided I was, bi, curious, maybe pan, I don't know, right? So we decided on heteroflexible. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, is there a flag? And it says, yes, there is a flag. And he tells me that it is blue and pink. And I'm like, okay. And it says, then it's gray, and gray kind of is pulled from the straight pride flag. And I was like, alarm bells going off, right? I'm like, what source is that one pulling from, right? So I'm like, okay, can you show it to me, right? It starts generating and its little wheels are spinning. There we go. And it generates. And I'm gonna try and see, I have some stuff still stuck on my lips, and I'm gonna go through and brush my teeth because it's got that molding stuff on it, but I really need something because I'm going crazy. This is the Juicy Lip Tint from Profusion. And I don't see color on this, but I think I saw packaging. I can go look. But this is what I had on before I left, and it goes really well with the cheek color that I put together. So this is the combo I'm wearing. I don't think it really needs much of a touch-up, if anything. But I took the lightest color from this. It's called It's a Vibe. This is the color Sold Out. And I paired it with the orange color from the Quad palette and just kind of did an ombre cheek, which I think is really pretty. So I'm just gonna go back in a little bit up here to blend this back in. I didn't powder, I did go in with my Lumi Matte, and then I set it, but because I did set it with powder, I'm gonna go in with the same shade here and just sort of hope to blend this out a little bit. I didn't really think I needed a lot of touch up, so I think I'll be okay doing it this way. Kind of blending out that line. I mean, it's just Costco and Walmart. I don't really need to do a lot, I think. And I am gonna go in and just touch up around my mouth as well. The Juicy Tip got a little too juicy there. Love the versatility of this powder because it is a hybrid powder. So I can do it wet sponge, dry sponge, powder brush, just literally anything. I can use it like this to kind of set and refresh my makeup. I can sit on a super fluffy brush, just literally the application you want. It works beautifully. I'm gonna just add a little bit of highlighter just to bring a little life back into my face. I'm gonna go into the rose color from my Quad. I'm gonna go right up under the under eye. I didn't do a whole lot there. Just a little purple in the waterline. Go down the nose. All right, let's get a little more appreciation for the whole Pride ensemble. You know, I did attempt that little white, and it didn't work. So let's actually with the changed my mind. I remember that when we were swatching this silver was blinding, and we didn't have enough lightness for my taste under at the bottom of the gradient. So let's go ahead and use that silver as almost an eyeliner. Let's see if we can do that at the bottom, if I can open the palette. There we are. No, we are not using that. Let's take this brand new brush from Profusion. This was the free item. So as we go into this, so when I ordered the mystery box from Profusion, I saw the photo. And in the photo, there were 4 little items. And so I read the description and I said, okay, so there's gonna be 4 items in the mystery box. 4 pictures, 4 items, right? Yeah. When I opened the box, I pulled out 8 items. And I thought, my gosh, they gave me so many free products. This is unreal. A little bit of fallout because I didn't feel on it. And I thought, wow, they are so generous. And they are, don't get me wrong. They're just not twice as many products generous. So I'm like, wow, okay. And then was tallying up the price of all of the what all the items would have been if I bought them separately. Because that's the point of the mystery box, right? You pay price for it. In my case, I got the small one, so it was $25. And then you get, your items, and they cost at least $50 in this case. So pay $25, and the cost of the item is going to be at least $50 worth. So I went through and I looked up, and one of the items was no longer available. This lipstick is no longer available on the site. So I found the glosses that were in the same two, and I used that price. So the price of everything totaled ended up being $53 and some cents. And so great value. I paid $25, got $53 something worth of products. And not Reiki products either, like a full blush palette, a full eyeshadow palette, this beautiful lipstick. I mean, nice products. A lip tint, which is great. I mean, you know, nice stuff. But I was like, oh my god, they gave me so many products. Yeah, because the box is supposed to have 8 products and I got 8 products. Yeah, I am special. All right. I'm not going to make you guys sit through the other eye. So anyway, I'm going to stop here and we'll do some pictures. I'm going to try to remember to take a thumbnail for the YouTube cover because I've just been letting it choose. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed both parts of the video. I'll clip some stuff for TikTok. But until next time, stay safe, be kind to yourself. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.